There's a lot of different types of business loans you can get for a new business, a lot of loans that people just don't even know about. So if you're trying to launch a business, look for the best ways to fund that business. You are going to love this training because I'm going to map out a ton of different ways that you can get business loans, credit lines, and even credit cards for your business. Even if your situation is not the best, even if you're just launching the business, you don't have collateral, you got credit issues, no matter what your scenario may be, I'm going to map out loan options for you to be able to get a business loan for a brand new business. You're going to leave this training with a lot of different options and know how you can actually look at the different types of financing that's out there and know which kind of financing can work for you. We got a lot to cover. As a matter of fact, by the end of this training, I'm even going to get you access, if you stick around to the end, to my guide on 27 killer ways to get the money you need to grow your business. We got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. So a lot of people think that you can't get money for a new business, and this is somewhat accurate, somewhat not. The reality is, if you're trying to walk in your bank, you're trying to get an SBA loan, those are the worst places you could go to get money for a brand new business. SBA, a lot of the big banks, Chase, Bank of America, those kind of banks are going to want you to actually be an established business. Established businesses are lower risk. So by being an established business, then you open up the door to all kinds of financing when you're in business for about 3 years or more. So there's places you don't want to go, and that's your bank and SBA. Those are the worst places you could go to really be able to get a lot of the different kind of financing that's out there. So when you start a business, what you want to do is focus on your strengths. SBA, for example, and conventional banks, they want to see revenue. They want to see tax returns. They want to see years and years of revenue increasing and profits. If you don't have that, those are the wrong places to look. So what strengths do you have? And this is what you really want to dive into when it comes to finding the right business loan for your business. Let me give you an example. So let's start with credit. Let's say you have good personal credit, or you have a family member, a friend, another investor, somebody else that has a 680 FICO score or more. Well, the best type of financing I've ever seen for a startup business is a program called Credit Line Hybrid. And with this kind of program, it's a form of credit card stacking. You're actually working with a finance source to get you upwards of $50,000 to $150,000 in real usable credit cards where you could take the cash out of the credit cards at 0%. It's like credit cards with the benefit of credit line, and you're able to pull the cash out at 0%. Really popular with real estate investors, really popular with new entrepreneurs who are just launching their business for the very first time. So Credit Line Hybrid is a great program designed specifically for startups because it's no doc. You don't have to provide income documentation. There's no balance sheet. There's no tax returns. There's no P&L statements needed. So even if you haven't made a dime of money in your business, you could still qualify for this program. You can check it out at creditsuite.com/CLH. Now, let's say you don't have good credit. Let's say no one around you has good credit. Well, then you want to look at another potential strength, which is called collateral, right? Assets that can serve up as collateral. And if you're just launching a business, you probably don't have inventory yet. You probably don't have equipment yet. So the question becomes, what assets do you have that may be served up as collateral? You could leverage real estate that you own. You could leverage vehicles you own. You could leverage cryptocurrency. So there's cryptocurrency financing out there where you could still get the money invested in crypto like it is now. You still get your rate of return, but you could borrow as much as 50% of the value of the crypto and get a credit line or a loan against that actual cryptocurrency. It's like double dipping. Even though you're still earning the return where the crypto is now, you're still able to come back and leverage it to be able to get financing. You could do exactly the same thing with stocks and bonds as well. It's called securities financing. You can borrow as much as 90% of the value of the stocks and bonds, and they still stay invested where they are now. You could even leverage a 401k or IRA. And all of this could be your assets or somebody else's assets. So cryptocurrency, stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, vehicles, real estate. Look, you can even use gold, silver, bullion. You can use so many different things to leverage to be able to get financing. You can use life insurance policies. So the question becomes, what assets do you have now? A lot of those assets can be leveraged to get loans or credit lines to borrow against them and actually use that to be able to fund the business. So credit, we look at collateral as well. Either one of these could work and open up a lot of options for you to be able to get the money you need, the business loan that you need to start the business. Now, another option is business credit. Business credit is my absolute 100% favorite way to be able to get the money you need to start and grow a business, because business credit pays for 90% of what you need to buy in the business. With business credit, I'm able to get credit at every major retailer: Office Depot, Home Depot, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Costco, Apple, HP, Dell, Best Buy, Amazon. I don't know if I mentioned that, Walmart. I mean, all these type of sources, even Macy's and Nordstrom offer corporate credit. I'm able to get it without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check, regardless of personal credit quality, right? I'm able to get it without collateral, without cash flow verification. This is money that anybody can get. And as you build business credit, you're building a credit profile and score that makes you more lendable. It gives you the ability to actually come in and be able to qualify for more credit lines and more loans. That business credit profile and score you're building, it legitimately gives your business a chance for your business to fund itself, where you don't even need guarantees and credit checks and all the other stuff that so many other business owners that are trying to get SBA loans absolutely need to be able to do it. So there's some options there. Hey, look, speaking of SBA, there are two types of SBA loans you can look at as a startup business. One are called microloans. You don't hear about them very often, but again, they're up to $50,000 approval. The average approval is about $13K through SBA. And you don't hear about them often because banks don't offer them. They're actually offered through nonprofit intermediaries from SBA. If you search SBA Microloan online, you're more than likely going to find a page on SBA's website that you can choose your state, find intermediaries in your area, and be able to have them help you get a microloan. Now, SBA does have startup loans as well. Yes, they do have loans you can actually use to launch a business, but I don't talk about them a lot because you need to have really strong personal financials to qualify. If you don't have a bunch of money in the bank and a high net worth, it's harder to get. But don't keep in mind, if you do have good credit and good high net worth, then you're also able to get SBA startup loans as well. And you can even get SBA acquisition loans to acquire an existing business. You can get SBA franchise loans to be able to buy a franchise as well. So a lot of different SBA products will work for you to actually be able to launch a brand new business. Now, there are some other kind of financing you should know about as well. And this kind of the financing looks at your income instead of your revenue. Now, you might call these personal loans because they're based on personal income instead of revenue, but there's a lot of options there. Some of my favorites are P2P financing, peer-to-peer financing through places like Prosper or Lending Club. These are super fast, easy approvals. Usually in less than 72 hours, you can somewhat get up to $500,000 with these sources, depending on the amount of your personal income. And you need average credit to get approved and consistent personal income, and you can typically get approved. So make sure you check out P2P Lending. Way easier and faster to get than most other kind of financing that's out there. There's also all kinds of personal loans, even personal loan stacking that you're able to get as well. If you want to find out all this funding you can qualify for right now, go to creditsuite.com/get funding. That's creditsuite.com/get funding. And we can jump on the phone with you and tell you all of the financing options that you have right now. But those are some really good options as well that look at your personal income as your strength, not business revenue. So remember, when it comes to getting a business loan as a new business, all this means is it means you cannot look at financing that's based on your revenue. SBA loans, term loans, merchant cash advances, revenue lending, that kind of financing, it's based on your revenue for approval. If you don't have revenue, you're not going to get any of that kind of financing. So what we have to do is figure out what your strength is. Is it personal credit? Is it some kind of collateral? Is it the fact that you have personal income? Any of those other things can be leveraged to be able to get you financing as a startup. And if you don't have any of those things, that's when we really want to rely on business credit. We want to use business credit to fund the business and build a credit profile and score that helps make us more lendable. Hey, if you want my guide on 27 killer ways to get financing for your business, make sure you grab it at creditsuite.com/27. That's creditsuite.com/2 and the number 7. And if you got value from this training, because we talked about a lot, you probably went into this thinking there's no way you're going to get a business loan. And now we just talked about like 30 different ways that you can get a business loan. So if you got value from this training, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe. And then keep your eye out for our next training where we talk about more cool ways to get the money you need to start and grow your business.